Welcome everyone to our beautiful Galway, the European Cultural Capital of Europe. Galway, which is so inclusive of all nationalities and ethnicities, which has led to an explosion of arts and culture throughout the years. So many of our yearly events are now world renowned. I have been stunned with the many events that actually took place in 2020, considering the unbelievable restrictions that COVID-19 imposed. I think it's a true testament to the tenacity of the people of Galway and, of course, Marilyn Gaughan-Reddan, who will walk you through this program. I want to thank especially Nuala Kavanagh, our member here, Chicago City member, a true Galwegian like myself, who has put all this together. So enjoy, and without further ado, I would like to introduce you to the Mayor of Galway, Mike Cubbert.
Hello, my name is Mike Cubbert. I'm the current Mayor of Galway City. It's a great honour to speak to you today, but also a great honour that Galway has chosen to be part of this series. I've been Mayor of Galway since June 2019. I had the great honour to be elected that year. And then shortly over 12 months ago, I was re-elected Mayor of Galway City again for a second term, which is the first time in over 50 years that a person has served consecutive terms as Mayor of Galway City. So I'm very, very proud and very honoured of that title. I suppose we speak about culture today and we speak about diversity. Our city prides itself on its open arm policy. Our city prides itself on its diversity. When you look at the population of Galway currently, about 26% of the people living in our city today were born in a different country. You take over a quarter of the people from any city born in a different country. It speaks volumes of the attitude of the people of that city, that fact. I suppose we are in the time where we are coming out the far side of this pandemic, all going well, and the numbers and the figures here in Galway are quite good. I hope you are keeping safe and well in Chicago as well. As I said, I was Mayor in 2019. I had the great honour of visiting your beautiful city in my first term as Mayor. I hope to visit you again very, very soon. Of course, Galway, as I said, Galway and Chicago go back a long, long way, and our relationship is viewed on in this country as one of the strongest sister city relationships in Ireland. It goes back so long, but it's as strong as ever, and that's very important. And I know many people from Galway set up roots in Chicago, and a lot of your residents will come here and visit Galway City as well, and in the summer period and beyond that. So all going well in the next number of weeks and months. We're back to a stage where we can travel and we can visit, and I can certainly say with no fear, Galway is open for business. We are rolling out various measures here to make sure our city is safe for people to visit when you can do so. So I look forward to welcoming you to Galway when you do arrive here with your families and your friends. And equally, I look forward to visiting your beautiful city yet again when all going well. It's safe to travel later on this year. In the meantime, I want you all to keep safe and keep well and enjoy this event. And again, Garma Give Galway for including Galway in this programme. Slán.
I met Marilyn through a mutual friend, Kenny Deary, in An Cup on Tay in Galway a few years ago. At the time, I told Marilyn that I had just started to help out with Chicago sister cities, Chicago Galway sister cities, and I'd love to collaborate on some networking events in the future. I believe today's event is just one of many to come in the future. Marilyn is passionate. She's passionate about her husband, Barry. She's passionate about her children, passionate about the fact they live in Galway, and she has always been passionate about culture. Marilyn is really proud to have been part of a number of incredible designations for Galway, cultural designations. And just one of those is the designation of Galway as being the European Capital of Culture for 2020. She has also co-founded a number of cultural organisations in Galway and sits on several boards in the city. Now, there's a long list, so there will be a complete list in the credits of this video afterwards. Marilyn, her passion is contagious. And I know that after you listen to her today, after you see her visuals, that your longing will have grown to such an extent that you won't be able to wait to plan that trip to Galway and experience its culture, its diversity. So let me hand you over to Marilyn.
Nuala, thank you very much. It's a lovely introduction. On behalf of the board of Galway 2020, the chief executives of the 2 local authorities in Galway and our own chief executive, Patricia Philbin, it's an absolute honour to meet with our extended family in Chicago, and I think that's the only way to sum all of you up. The relationships with Chicago go back for decades. And as I said before, the best creamy mashed potato I ever had was in Senator Lawless's pub in Chicago many years ago. We would like to take this opportunity to thank Senator Lawless for his continued support and for the work that he does. He is Galway's greatest son, and we're really proud of the work that he does on behalf of Ireland, on behalf of the diaspora, and the work that he continues to do for Irish immigrants. It's recognised globally, and we're extremely proud of the work that you do, Senator. Nuala asked me to talk to you today about Galway 2020. Sorry, just going to go back. So Galway was designated the European Capital of Culture for the year 2020. It's quite a long process, actually. The European Capitals of Culture were established in 1985 by the Greek Ministry for Culture. Ireland accepted the European Commission opportunity to host in 2014. We were awarded the designation in 2016 and put in place a 3-year development period. And it does take that long to plan and develop and organise such a large-scale cultural event as this. We had only just started when COVID became a very harsh reality and a global pandemic hit us. And it was extremely difficult for the citizens, for the artists, for the business community, the hospitality sector. Everybody had worked really hard together to try and make this the very best that it could be for Galway and for Ireland. And we made a very conscious decision that the pandemic was not going to stop us from delivering what we knew would be a beautiful programme. So what we did in light of the crisis was we suspended all activities until September 2020. We had permission from the department, our Minister for Culture and the department in Ireland, and our 2 local authorities, Galway City Council and Galway County Council, were extremely supportive. And without their support, this wouldn't have been possible. And we all made a very conscious decision that we were going to support our local cultural economy. And in doing so, we managed to deliver an enormous amount of work during COVID, working very, very closely together. And I think that's really unique, and Nuala alluded to it earlier. There's a great spirit in Galway. There's a spirit of resilience and brilliance, and a real spirit of the show must go on. It's a city built by artists, and its culture knows no bounds. And I suppose in terms of the structure for the delivery of the programme, we managed to deliver 31 partner delivered projects. So what that means is working in partnership with partners to deliver a number of events. 78 community events delivered and facilitated in Galway, with 9 regional projects, an entire schools programme, and a series of partnership events, European conferences delivered and streamed live from Galway. We managed to deliver over 500 events in the pandemic, and in doing so worked with 600 artists and over 300 businesses. When given that most of our time was spent in level 5, we had 5 levels of lockdown in Ireland, and level 5 was the highest level of restriction, which meant full lockdown. It was extremely difficult, but we did it. Nuala asked me to talk about our wave makers, who she actively follows on Facebook. The wave makers were a volunteer community who came together with the help of Galway 2020 and facilitated by our volunteer manager. We ended up having 750 wave makers. They represent 52 nationalities. One wave maker moved from Rijeka in Croatia to be in Ireland for the year, and they speak over 80 languages. As the Mayor rightly pointed out, a quarter of the population of Galway are non-Irish, And this is really evident in the Wavemaker program. Our Wavemakers were absolutely intrinsically in the heart of the program, because while we were shooting and filming and streaming live, they were working as our COVID officers in the background, making sure that all compliance was being adhered to. They also ran a whole suite of online projects celebrating Europeanness and diversity and language. They're the most remarkable bunch of people, and they are true celebrators of culture and of community. Just yesterday, they were involved in a beach cleanup in the town. They also volunteer at the market. So they're very much involved in the civic life of Galway. And as Billy said, a couple of weeks ago, one of the things he loves about Galway, one of the things I love about Galway, is that sense of welcome. Hanging outside all of the shops, you'll see flags from countries and counties. And there's a real sense of welcome and openness. And that's very much expressed through our Wavemaker program. Our opening ceremony took place in 6 locations across the county. We were very keen to explore the fact that this is a city and county designations. This is a map of Galway County. So Galway sits on the most westerly edge of Europe. We have a very small population. I mean, it's just over 260,000 in the city and the county. The city's own population, right there in the heart of the screen, is 79,934 people. So we're a very small city, but really punch above our weight in terms of a global context. It's a fabulous city to do business in. It's a fabulous city to visit, and it's an incredible place to live and to raise a family. And part of what we wanted to do as part of our opening week was to celebrate our city and our county. So the intention was, we had a fire tour which took place in the villages and towns outside of the city, and then we would march into the city for our grand opening night. Unfortunately, our grand opening night was hit with a storm, but nonetheless, as a direct result of this incredible event, there's an incredible legacy already, from event planning to the community cast. And again, that level of volunteerism stayed really strong. Over 300 people volunteered to be part of our community cast and participate in the fire tour across the county. They were remarkable, and in the space of 6 weeks learned how to drum and how to perform, and they were the most amazing bunch of people. This is a little film that we made to say thank you to them. And I think when you really get into what European Capital of Culture is, a European Capital of Culture, 3 things: place and participation. And I think that the opening ceremony and the fire tours really celebrated people, place and participation. The themes of our program were language, landscape and migration. Every European Capital of Culture is curated around central themes. And for us, it was about our language. As the Mayor correctly said, so many people are not from Galway. So language being the multiple languages that are spoken on a daily basis in Galway. alongside the fact that we are a bilingual city and that Irish is our first language. One of the things that I really love about Galway is actually just standing on Shop Street, closing my eyes and just listening to all the incredible languages that you can hear in such a small city in just a few minutes. And I think that's one of the very special things about this place. Our landscape is spectacular. The rugged Atlantic west of the county, the youthful, medieval and stunningly beautiful city, and the ecclesiastical east. There really is something in our landscape for everyone. It's a great place to explore, it's a great place to play, it's a great place to make. And certainly for us, we used our landscape as our gallery, we used our landscape as our theatre, and we used our landscape as our space in which to program and create this program, film it, and then send that all around the world. And in doing so, we brought people into spaces and places that they wouldn't ordinarily go. Migration, our third theme, is extremely important in terms of the celebration of diversity, but also of the people who stayed, the people who came, and the people who left. So migration became a very strong theme within the context of our overall program. When we relaunched with this very short little clip. If you haven't been to Galway, then watch closely, because there is something in here that I know will evoke a need for you to go. So all of the projects are available online, and immediately afterwards I'll be sending a link of some films that you can still have and watch in the comfort of your own home. I would like to highlight a selection of projects that were reimagined. As I said, we delivered more than 500 individual events in our limited time as European Capital of Culture, but just to give you a flavour of what they look like. The first project I want to talk about is the Savage Beauty. Oscar Wilde once referred to Connemara as having a savage beauty, and he couldn't have described it more accurately or appropriately, actually, because it is stunningly beautiful. Every corner of the landscape in Connemara makes you want to go back and go back and go back. I've lived here for 20 years. I live in Connemara, and every day I find something new. Every day I find a new place I haven't been, a new beach, a new loch. And one of the great things about programming at this level and scale is it allows you to take people into the landscape in a way that they wouldn't ordinarily go. So we commissioned Carrie Cola, one of the world's most renowned light artists, to create what he deems to be the largest land light installation ever undertaken by man. And we focused on an area in Connemara called Loch na Fui. It took 36 helicopter drops. It took 3 weeks to install. It was a remarkable feat. And the day before we were due to go live, the country locked down with COVID. As a team, we rallied very, very quickly, and in partnership with the local authorities, had permission to light the mountains and create a digital installation. So this was the first project that we had to revise and rethink at an immediate speed. And this is the result. And I do think it is quite beautiful. So I do see some questions coming in, and we'll take them all just at the end of the presentation. One of the big things we did was, again in celebration of diversity and culture, was a series of open calls to work with our communities across the city and the county. And this resulted in 78 community initiatives with artists and partners, which celebrated diversity, community, engagement, and people. And this was a remarkable programme of work, truly engaged. This is a map of Galway City and County. And it was a really incredible body of work to be involved in. Just an example of one of these projects is Echoes of Calling Encounter. And it was a film shot on Inisheer, the smallest of the 3 Aran Islands, next stop New York, and Japan. So the film was actually made on Inisheer and edited and directed from Japan, and then brought together online and screened for a week online. An incredible body of work. And it's just one example of 78 of those projects. Sustainability was really important to us in the context of the overall programme. And one of the projects that celebrated sustainability and climate change was Hope It Rains. Some of you may be aware that it rains in Galway every so often. So we had a programme, an entire programme called Hope It Rains, which celebrated bad weather. And as part of that, there were a series of installations, photo montages, sculptures, all of which will be in place for a number of months to come for the public to enjoy. It was curated by Dr. Rian McNeil and engaged over 38 artists in the making of this work during COVID. Most of it was available online with workshops and participation events for children where they could make weather play items at home alongside these remarkable installations. And I'd like to show one such installation to you. A lot of our work was filmed and then streamed or broadcast. This film was broadcast on TG Cahar, our national Irish language broadcaster, and it's called Bog Portraits, and I just think it's quite beautiful. If any of you who are listening today have Irish, maybe close your eyes and just listen to our tonga. It's just so beautiful.
Níránach idís níránach bhfuil Paul as mar an a báilsin nó a crot go topantá Eva teachtamach. An technique nádarach baint leis a bortach a úsáid písa Alain a chrochú. Sin go bunasach Paul harta agus eibrew ó híh an spéir agus an isce agus an fód múna a bheith a casal a chéile. An rud is mailim go mór go daoine áitiúil gur asa gantarad, asa tala céine iad.
These were carved into the landscape, and with fog, when the water rises, come up, the portraits become visible. So it's a beautiful piece which stays within the landscape. One of the joys that emerged in the overall programme was the deeper shade of green. And this was a programme curated by Margaret Flannery in the University Hospitals Arts Trust wider region. So there are 9 hospitals in the region, and this was centred in Galway. So during COVID, we had a series of projects within the confines of the hospital for patients. And it comprised of a series of exhibitions and installations, and this incredible, beautiful musical installation called Veritas with music artists Ciara Conway and Anna Malarkey. We're really glad that we had the opportunity to create work for patients in the hospital during this time. As many of you know, the staff and patients were under enormous pressure during COVID. And we had a lot of feedback about this project and the fact that it brought great joy to a lot of people during a very difficult time. Druid are our international theatre company, and we were fortunate enough that we were between levels, so level 2, 3 and then 5. And this was a really good example of an organisation, one of our cultural partners, really adapting to what we had to deal with and face in terms of planning and rearranging the programme around the restrictions imposed because of COVID. So when they started the tour, they were limited to 15 persons outside and then 30 persons outside, and then eventually online. So Druid performed Lady Gregory's wonderful plays in Galway's most historic locations, in Cool Park and Calmore Abbey and Tucla and on the grounds of NUI Galway. So these stunning, beautiful historic locations became places and spaces for cultural engagement and outdoor theatre. It was an absolute joy to experience and a joy to be present, and a memory that will last in my mind forever, and that's for sure. The work of Galway International Arts Festival needs no introduction, and they worked with John Gerard, an internationally renowned artist, to create this stunning sculpture, a piece of artificial intelligence, which talks about climate change as well. And I want to show you just a very short little film of it in situ in Galway City during lockdown. It was level 2 and level 3 while this was in situ. And we're really delighted that this piece will have another outing again in August. See Tamagotchi is a project which collects lost Irish words from coastal and maritime communities along the west coast of Ireland. And this was a very unexpected joy in the programme. Initially, it was supposed to be a series of installations along the west coast and theatre engagement, but actually it became a series of podcasts, short films, a book, and a whole online engagement around the Irish language, where Moncan shared the lost words online every day. And this is a really good example of a project that was actually better because it was reshaped and refocused and moved online. The artist and writer Moncan Mangan is one of Ireland's most renowned artists, a fabulous, wonderful man to work with. And he really, really curated and selected the most wonderful words. And I recall meeting with some colleagues in Connemara who told me that they had their parents and grandparents had heard words for the first time since they were children. So his collection of the lost words and his saving of the language is really, really remarkable. A very special guy doing the most incredibly special work. And we were honoured to include it in the programme, and really honoured by the way in which this was reimagined and rethought and represented. One of the other unexpected outcomes was the fact, and I recall the artistic director, Finian Collins from Music for Galway, saying that, you know, one of the unexpected things for them really was in moving all of our concerts online, that we now had access to a global audience that we didn't have before. So the opening concert for Music for Galway, for example, Cellissimo, were that to be a live event, we couldn't have hosted any more than 30 or 40 people in the grand room in Calmore. And for this concert, thousands of people logged on from the comfort of their homes and experienced the magic of Calmore Abbey the most intimate and beautiful of spaces from the comfort of their home. The global reach around the concerts with both Symphonic Waves and Music for Galway and Live Feed and many of our other music projects have been really, really phenomenal. And all events were ticketed and online, and some were limited series and some still remain online. So there really is something for everyone within the context of the programme. One of the beautiful projects created in the area of music, and again, it's another example of programming on different platforms. This is The Mighty Ocean by Máirtín O'Connor, Ireland's most renowned accordion player, along with Contempo and 12 other musicians who came together and really thought about damage, pollution, about our landscape, again, coming back to landscape, language and migration, and the celebration of sound and music. And this was a piece aired on TG Cahir, our national broadcaster. I'll be sending Ella a link to the player where you can watch the entire piece. It's a 30-minute programme, but I would like you to hear Máirtín's voice and hear his stunning music.
Nor a bhí mé óg, bhí muid in Argóní an Ecin na Farraige, agus tá grá agam don Arga riamh ó hin. Ag cuimhnú an gceangal atá aguain leis an Farraige, an neart agus a háiliocht, agus an gontúirt atá andúin fad leis an athrú éráide, agus margheall an mealach atá muid as tiún leis an nádúr. Tháinig an pias a cheol seo chugam, The Mighty Ocean.
You'll note from many of the very short films that I'm playing for you, you do experience the art, but also you experience Galway, the city, the county and the landscape, because in moving a programme online, we wanted people to still experience something of Galway and still outwardly promote and be very, very proud of our stunning landscape, our beautiful city and this remarkable place. And I think that's featured very, very strongly through the art that we've presented online. The final project that I'm going to mention this evening is called Gilgamesh by our street theatre company, Macnas. Usually they are found on the streets performing. They are Ireland's greatest storytellers, of that there is no doubt. And they tell the oldest story in the world. So Gilgamesh is the oldest, epic, most ancient story in the world. And they tell this through a series of installations in the landscape, which were then filmed and will be broadcast in June. The whole rethinking behind this was we'll still create the art, but now we'll film the art. So rather than it being a film, consider Gilgamesh as a series of small films resulting in a much longer one, which is really about the filming of the art and the artwork and the retelling of the story of Gilgamesh. So just give you a little feel for what it might look like.
I alight on the wheat-rich plains of Oirr, this city of canals and palaces, libraries and temples, jewel of jewels. The palace doors are open. Gilgamesh sits on his throne. Gilgamesh, beloved of Ishtar and Shamash, but not of me. I know you and what harm you mean. You will gorge on your savage crimes,
And we look forward to sharing a lot more about Gilgamesh and indeed some of the other projects with you. So that kind of concludes the presentation. We'd love to stay in touch. I've agreed with Ella and Nuala to share a suite of links to some films which tell a little bit more detail or go into a little bit more detail on some of the projects, or indeed some of the films that you might like to enjoy from the comfort of your home. Of course, there are many, many more events. There wasn't time to go into all of them this evening, but we do thank you enormously for listening, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Marilyn. That was wonderful. Let's see, I think we have John Wren. Are you there, John?
Yes.
Hello.
Thank you so much. We wanted to thank everybody for tuning in today to this great presentation, especially Adrian Tangate and Ella McCann from Sister Cities. Ella, thank you so much. You guys did a great job coordinating this.
Thank you.
We wanted to thank Nuala Kavanagh, our committee member who really orchestrated this whole event, and she just did an outstanding job. So we're very thankful. On behalf of Billy Lawless and I, we want to especially thank Mayor Cupboard for his remarks and participating today, and a real special debt of gratitude we owe Marilyn. Marilyn, your presentation was outstanding. I think we all learned so much about Galway today, and we can't thank you enough. You're a great ambassador for the city, and everybody in every Galwegian should be very proud of you. So thank you so much for your efforts.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much,
an open invitation extends. Galway is open for business, and we are really keen to welcome everyone. I hope that the programme gives you a flavour of the city and the county and the landscape. It is stunning. The people here are amazing. The business community, the artists, the hospitality sector. And it would be remiss of me not to mention that Galway was also a European Region of Gastronomy in 2018. Outside of Billy Lawless's pubs, it's the best food you're going to eat.
That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you again, Marilyn. We do have some questions, and we'll be taking some questions for a little bit. So if you have a question and you'd like to ask, please use the Q&A function down at the bottom of your screen, and you can ask a question to Marilyn. So we'll start with the first one. I'm sure the challenges of COVID were many, but were there any unexpected benefits to having to tailor your program to lockdowns and social distancing?
Yes, there were. One of the things most definitely was the engagement of a global audience. Some of these events were not planned to be online. It was never intended to have so many online events. That's just not what we had envisaged. All of these projects would have had a live audience. In moving the program online and in moving certain specific projects online, the reach has been phenomenal. And certainly some of the feedback from the Irish diaspora have been, I couldn't have come home for it anyway, and now I saw it. And there was great pride in that. And to get some of those emails was really heartwarming. Another comment around taking you into spaces and places in Galway that maybe a live audience couldn't have gone, and providing all of that incredible footage. You know, this is one of the largest cultural archives, digital archives created in a single program. We've made over 167 films.
Wow.
Which is amazing. That's amazing to have that digital archive for decades to come, and to, you know, to really promote the work of the artists of Galway city and county. I mean, our cultural partners are phenomenal. And, you know, when Billy mentioned earlier the resilience of the city, this is collective resilience, and this is absolute brilliance. And I'm really proud of what everybody has achieved, because everybody worked really hard. So I think that's one of the big outcomes for me, has been access to a global audience. The other thing has been unexpected benefit is we're currently evaluating the projects with all of our cultural partners, and most of them have seen a doubling in their online social media following and presence. They are averaging out at the moment around 16% of audiences coming in from states alone online, which is phenomenal.
That is one of the benefits that we've also... noticed with the pandemic is that we've been able to keep in touch with our partners in our sister cities, and we've seen an increase in our attendance and things like that. We appreciate everyone who's here today with us as well, and we hope you've enjoyed this. Our next question is from, it's not a question, but it's a comment. So I have always heard how stunning Galway is. I've been to Dublin and have to get to your gem. So I think this presentation really definitely helped. I know I want to go to Galway after I've seen this, and just having worked with the Galway committee. It's a really great place. So I'm really excited to go as well. I'm very interested in language documentation and preservation. Where's the best place to learn more about C. Tamagotchi?
Our website, www.galway.ie, galway2020.ie. And again, that's one of the links I'll be forwarding to both you and Nuala. There's a dedicated website for C. Tamagotchi as well, but you can get the link through galway2020.ie.
Excellent. And I just put that in the chat for those of you that are also interested. And yes, we will be sending along links after. It's
a stunning project, but you can also buy the book. There's a beautiful book which has been handmade by an incredible company working on Achill Island in County Mayo. Stunningly beautiful. So there's lots of ways to engage with C. Tamagotchi, and you can also follow online for the releasing of Oirr through Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, Moncon Mangan. So I'll send those details to Nuala and Ella afterwards.
Yeah, and Adrian just put it in the chat for everyone. You can see galway.2020.ie. Next question, Marilyn, I can feel your passion for all the projects. What was your personal favorite and why?
Oh, you can't ask me that. Oh God. I don't think I have a favorite as such. I'm really proud of all of the artists and the cultural partners and our team, because the work to pull this off was phenomenal. I think The Mighty Ocean is a stunningly beautiful suite of music, which really it's a stunningly beautiful film, but the music, which was composed by Máirtín O'Connor, resonates with me enormously. Maybe because I'm a daily sea swimmer, I live by the sea. I don't know, that project really resonates with me. Another project that resonates very strongly is Small Towns, Big Ideas, because it really celebrates our community, our diversity, our community engagement. It's not part of the program, but I'm really proud of the Wavemakers. They're the most amazing bunch of people. They really represent Galway. They represent the diversity of our people, our languages, our multiple languages, and our Irish language, and celebrate all of what is good and wonderful about the welcome that you come and that you receive when you come to Galway. I have lots of favourites. They're all my favourites. There is no favourites. They're all absolutely brilliant. And we're really proud to have had the opportunity to showcase Galway's cultural beating heart in a global way.
Love that. Yeah, that's so great to be able to have so many things that you've loved working on and to be able to display for the city. Another great comment, phenomenal presentation. So much I didn't know about Galway. Can't wait to go back. So yes, hopefully everyone, your first trip after COVID settles down is to Galway, Ireland, our sister city. Next question is, thank you, Marilyn. Quick question, would this presentation be available to share with Irish language, culture students here in the US?
Yes, well, what we can do is we have many more Irish language projects. So if they so wish, we can send a link to all of those projects as well, because we have Ashtu, Oirr, Hope It Rains, they're all bilingual. So whatever is needed, we can certainly do that and share those links to those projects.
Excellent. Yeah, we'll be sure to share links with everyone who registered for the event and attended the event afterwards. There's also a comment, you can watch Galway 2020 handover on the TG4 player, and they sent us a link that we will also be able to share. And then
the handover actually is stunning, because it's 12 minutes of sheer joy of the celebration of art, language, culture, heritage and history, and all that was achieved in the context of this program. So that would be one to really watch from home, enjoy a cup of coffee, and it's stunningly beautiful.
Love it. I'm so excited to watch that and to see all the other videos. Greetings from Galway. Thank you for tuning in if you're in Galway. Fabulous presentation on our beautiful, diverse, and culturally rich city and county. And that was our final comment, but we really do appreciate your presentation and for sharing with us about the beauty and diversity of Galway. I think for me, I've seen, some photos of just how beautiful the landscape is, but also the people, right? And I think that's been really the highlight for me, and I'm really excited about visiting there. And thank you so much, Marilyn, for speaking with us today.
Oh, not at all. I'm really looking forward to meeting you in person, Ella.
Yes.
And again, thank you for your professionalism in organising this event, and to Nuala for the invite. Always a pleasure to work with Nuala, I have to say.
Nuala has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for all of your help with this, Nuala. And now I'll turn it over to our Executive Director, Adrian Tungate, to give you all a few more exciting events and activities that are coming up for us.
Thanks so much, Ella. And Marilyn, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. You really shared and conveyed the magic of Galway. Galway is one of the most special spots in the world to me, so it was beautiful to see what you've done this past year. And we definitely need to get a trip together for Chicago to go to Galway next year in 2022. So looking forward to seeing you there, and hopefully welcoming all of our friends from Galway who I see are on the call today. Thank you for joining us to Chicago maybe not this summer, but next summer. We'd love to have you back. Many thanks to Billy Lawless, John Wren, and most especially Nuala for helping to put this together. The Sister Cities mission is really driven by volunteers who are citizen diplomats passionate about sharing about Chicago and our sister cities. So if you're interested in joining us on our committees, feel free to reach out. Ella will put a link in our website in the chats right there. Thank you, Ella. And just thank you all for joining us. This is part of a monthly series we have to discover our 29 international sister cities and hear the innovative things taking place. Next month, we will have Discover Toronto, which is our closest sister city. And then we also have a new tech and innovation series where we feature entrepreneurs as well as international ones. Tonight, we have startups in food and ag from Chicago, Shanghai, Osaka, and Sydney. And next Thursday, we'll feature healthcare and life sciences, including Andrew Cameron at Field Tech in Galway. Thank you, and I hope you can join us soon. Have a good day, everyone.